2024. We're live. So tonight we welcome our friends and family members and our brothers and compatriots, those who are helping us to look after our patrimony and those who are betraying it. We welcome all of you. This is the Belizean Affairs Show number 227 for Monday, 9th of December 2024. I yield to you, Mr. Wade,
Thank you.
for introduction, sir.
Thank you, Leonard. It's a pleasure to sit with you here again tonight. From a
The pleasure,
different
the
a
pleasure is
different
mine too, Mr.
location,
Wade.
my brother. You
The
shift
pleasure
up
is
on
mine.
me. You like to shift up on me. You. But no, are they right behind you? Are they right behind you? Right?
And I run too fast. I make sure I don't run too fast because I know when I fall, I can't get up.
But it's always a pleasure, my brother. And you know, I I I
I see
am
our
pleased to
chairman
know
is in the
that you
background
had
now.
made
I'm not sure if
your
he's ready to
journey
come on now.
home. I
Yes,
made
sir.
your journey home, and
Make a check see if the chairman is ready to come on now. I don't know if I need to bring him on or if he's still having issues or if he gonna come on himself or what's happening. Let me see if I can add him and then if he's on. Greg,
oh, there's
are
Greg.
you ready to be on or you were just doing something in the background? Greg?
I'm ready.
Oh, okay. Because we were about to steal the thunder. Anyhow,
I thank you guys.
Yes,
so
yes,
Mr. Will was gonna. I was
yes.
gonna do the prayer and then I was gonna.
Mr. Chairman, I was just about to let me finish up. Then I'll pass it right over in your hands. Welcome again to our 227th edition and Belizean Affairs, and we always start with a prayer and then a reading. We're a little late, but better late than never. Uh,
Amen.
Leonard, can you lead us in a prayer, please?
Yes, sir. Divine loving Father, once again, in a special way, I personally wish to thank you for having brought me back safely, for having given me, first of all, life, and then the privilege to be among my family members, friends, and loved ones, and having been to Belize to do my annual survey, and having learned and found out the things that I found out that I think would serve us very good for oncoming shows. We thank the loving Father for having mercy upon us, for guiding us, protecting us, for blessing our family members, don't know us them by name and number, don't know us our hearts or desires, even our most secret thoughts. And especially we pray that God will bless the rest of our Belizeans at home and abroad, and our people, our leaders. Please guide and protect them too. Bless our country, bless this country of the United States and the rest of humanity. Have mercy upon us, Lord. Progressive mercies in Jesus' name, amen.
Thank
Back to you,
you.
Mr. Wade.
Thank you, Leonard, for that
You're
warm
all right.
prayer. And again, thanks for friendship and thanks for togetherness. Mr. Chairman, I will brace us with a reading and then I'll hand it over back to you, Mr. Chairman. Okay?
Thank you, Mr. Wade.
Yes. I'll do a reading from Exodus chapter 23, 1 to 10. It reads, "You shall not spread a false report.
Amen.
You shall not join hands with a wicked man to be a malicious witness.
Amen.
You shall not fall in with the many to do evil, nor shall you be their witness in a lawsuit siding with the many so as to pervert justice, nor shall you be partial to a poor man in his lawsuit. If you meet your enemy's ox or his donkey going astray, you shall bring it back to him.
Amen.
If you see the donkey of one who hates you lying down under its burden, you shall refrain from leaving him with it. You shall rescue it with him.
Amen.
You shall not pervert the justice due to your poor in his lawsuit. Keep far from a false charge, and do not kill the innocent and righteous,
Amen.
for it will not acquit, I will not acquit the wicked, and you shall not take no bribe, for a bribe blinds, declares sight, and subverts the cause of those who are in the right. You shall not oppress a sojourner. You know the heart of a sojourner, for you were a sojourner in the land of Egypt.
Amen.
For 6 years you shall sow your land and gather in its yield. But the seventh year you shall let the rest and lie fallow, that the poor of your people may eat, and what they leave, the beast of the field may eat. That's my reading from Exodus chapter 23, 1 to 10. Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. Good night to the Belizean people at home and abroad. And thank you for tuning in to this, our 227th edition of Belizean Affairs. I hope that tonight's show, we here on Belizean Affairs, will enlighten you with some of the issue and some of the political blunders that are taking place in our country, being we're looking forward to a general election. I thank you, Mr. Wade and Mr. Brackett, for sitting with me virtually. You guys are highly appreciated, and I must commend you, Mr. Wade, for standing up and trying to face the government with the redistricting. As an aspiring candidate, I want to give you the utmost respect, because there are many who's out there who want to do the same thing but is facing some kind of crisis beyond their control. As we know, inflation is steadily rising, and there is no ease for the people in the country. Now, I'm saying this to say, on many shows, I have spoken about political blunder, and we must watch the narrative. I have said on more than one occasion that there's a new way of buying votes now. Past and present government, especially the present government, has found a new way to buy votes. And tonight, as we always do on Belizean Affairs, we will show and tell as to how we got to where we are with the present government and its narrative. Let's go to the first video.
Today, we are increasing the income tax threshold, ensuring that more Belizeans can take more money home every week and month. We are also removing GST for first-time property owners on lots that cost less than $30,000 and exempting stamp duties on mortgage for less than $100,000. All actions to help our Belizean people to keep more of their hard-earned money for their families. Together, with the help of our public officers, we strengthened the monitoring of grocery stores to ensure that there is less price gouging, with stricter fines for those who continue to do so. And I can say, with some measure of pride, that there is so much more than that has been achieved in these 4 years. Not only to grow the nation, but to help our people to make their lives better. In 2018, in 2018, our poverty rate stood at 52%.
Now, gentlemen and people at home and abroad, this was a part of the State of the Nation speech given by our present Prime Minister. Now, I'm drawing your attention to this because I also had spoke right here on this platform of how Belize does not have a campaign financing law or a campaign financing act. And I also said, outrightly said with specifics as to how we are moving past the buying of votes to a new form of buying of votes, which is concession to the Belizean people. And here we find the present government at full capacity giving concession away to the Belizean people. Now, after I said that, and you heard the State of the Nation speech, people at home and abroad, let's go to the first commercial that the present government has made in accordance to the State of the Nation speech.
The government can't control global inflation. No government can. That's the real truth. But what the PUP government has done is this. Effective January 1st, all workers who earn less than $29,000 will pay no income tax. That means that 2,851 more workers will no longer pay income tax. That means that in almost 3,000 more homes across Belize, there will be more money in the hands of our people. That's how we empower our people. That's how we fight inflation, and that's how we've cut the poverty rate in half. There's much more to come. One people, one People's United Party government, one Belize.
Mr. Wade, I go to you first. Is this the new form of campaign financing to buy votes?
That's the new form of campaign to buy votes, Mr. Chairman, right? And it's laid out so nicely that he's giving help to the poor people. He's been nice to the poor people for no duty pays on a lot that costs $30,000. 30, Why one poor Belizean will find $30,000 for a lot? What do you think that man should have said? Free lots for born Belizean. Come and get your patrimony. You deserve it. But you hear what he says? Wow, he giving away for that to $30,000. And more Belizean will take home. This guy he's stuck in that 30 there, Mr. Chairman. More Belizean will take home lots of money. Those who make under $30,000, no income tax. Gee whiz. Just listen to that guy. Huh? Rightfully says that's a new. And look at the commercial. Let's look at the commercial. Huh? What is wrong with that guy? Is that's the way how he think about the Belizean people? That's the level that he's up there and he's looking down at the Belizean people and throwing some crumbs again. Because the Belizean people down there hungry just to wait for the league can for drop for them. Because the election come. What is wrong with that guy? Who is he fooling? Only the PUP fanatics. Those are the only ones that he fools. And he will continue to fool them. Right? It's so sad. And you see how they use the patrimony of the Belizean people? Using the land, right? Using their labor, Mr. Chairman and Leonard. Using that big grandstand. And that man is not ashamed. Like I always says, I don't know how that evil guy sleeps at night. And he's coming back for another election. He's coming back to rule over the Belizean people again. Think you see anything now? No, you don't see nothing yet from that guy. Right? But, you know, as for me, all that with him, I put that in the hands of the Almighty. Because it's nothing but pure evil. Pure evil. Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. Let's not forget what political blunder is. How much of the Belizean people is making $30,000 or just below $30,000? It is not surprising and it is not a shock that the present government is producing these narratives. They are narrative to win an election. And the narrative they are producing is being put out there even though they know that is not the truth. It's a narrative as the one that is being placed in the hands of the Israeli. Israel has a right to defend itself. Israel has a right to defend itself. So regardless of what they do and who they kill, as many as they can, the narrative is they have a right to defend themselves. Because I'm saying this to say the failure of past and present government. It is well worded, this commercial, and it is well put together for the people of Belize to see. But how can a government do this when he himself, after his State of the Nation speech, said the economy was bouncing back, but yet we are inflation and the commercial is saying the present government cannot stop the world inflation. Mr. Brackett, before I go to you, because I want to hit you on the first tape and this one I'm about to play. Listen to this, people at home and abroad.
If I was with meeting with the BNTU, they could never say that Minister Fonseca and his team, they just met, was it last week, I think, that they met, and they've been discussing this issue. Most of these issues are issues that starts at the management, and if the management don't send it to the ministry can't process it. That is one. Secondly, it's unfortunate that the BNTU for everything and say, oh, they want to strike. I mean, we need to be real. We need to be serious. No, I understand, and I don't want anybody to take this out of context. I understand the teachers need the money, and they deserve the money to work so hard and everything. My mother was a teacher, my wife was a teacher, so I know what it is and the hardships that they go through to be able to be a good teacher. What the BNTU is not telling you.
Mr. Brackett and people at home and abroad, I stopped the tape at that point so that you, the people out there, can understand what we do here in Belizean Affair. How can you, under political blunder, is specifying about giving a tax break to Belizean making less than 30,000 when you have not created any long-term job and there's only a few people working except for those that are working with the BPOs that you, the present government, classified as essential service. And you are taking away and giving away this tax break that a country needs to survive on and to pay its wage bill. And right here, proven fact, you can't even pay the teachers. I go to you, Mr. Brackett.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for the privilege to participate in tonight's program. And on this particular topic, if I weren't a cynical person, of course, you know I'm classifying myself as a cynic, right? By saying that, which I am. So it's not like I'm cursing myself or waiting for anybody to curse me and say, well, because I speak the way I speak to the issues that I speak to and the way I deal with them or attribute them, it's because I'm a cynical person. That being said and done, over with the idea that I'm not a cynic, because to deal with these kind of jackals, hyenas, vampires, vultures, and other, you know, categorized individuals who, on the basis of their conduct and what they say, grants us the license to refer to them in such a manner. Otherwise, if we refer to them in any other manner, we would just be as much as an apologist on their behalf, because they know what they're doing, they know what they're saying, they know that they're lying, and they know that in many instances they don't need to be saying the things that they're going to say. But this jackal of a prime minister that we have, imagine the man has no respect for his own mother, much less his wife, that because of his failure and people pointing out his failure to him, he's going to resort to bringing him into the public arena and public conversation. Why should he have to do that? When in fact, as I'm going to state it here now again, his mother was living with his father, who was a well-to-do POP minister. So Mr. Briceño and his mother and his father never wanted for anything in terms of the poverty crisis that the people of Belize are currently undergoing and or the teachers are having to deal with. So how the hell is he going to say, well, because his mother was a teacher and his wife was a teacher, but they never suffered the consequences that these present teachers are suffering, that he should bring them into the picture and use them as a crutch to stand on to defend against his dastardly conduct and failure in terms of providing for these people their due wage. He came into office with a vengeance on his mind against this teacher and other civil servants. Why? I'll remind you why. They were the one that kicked their butt out when Mr. Musa was in office and he was the deputy prime minister. Have we forgotten? The first thing he did when he got elected this term around, becoming the prime minister on his own terms now, was to go after the teachers and the other civil servants and take away 10% of their salaries to try and make up money to go and give Mr. Ashcroft, while he was stipulating that, oh, the government was broke and therefore he needed to raise money to help finance the government prerogatives. No, that was not the case. We have seen it, we have lived it, and now we can use hindsight to validate, as I'm saying, that was not the case. Because even as of right now that we're talking, and so many times he and the central bank people and all the other rest of people that come up and talk and tell us about how good the economy is doing, by now he should have returned those people their 10% that he had taken. Well, I would call it borrowed, because it was actually borrowed. It could not have been taken according to our constitution. It would have been illegal for him to take it. So presumably I would give him the benefit of the doubt to say he borrowed it because he wanted to, first of all, teach them a lesson. Don't mess with the man with the money, as he tell other people, and one particular person that I'm referring to. He means it for everybody else. He is the man with the money. He is the minister of finance. He finances all the other government departments, and he decides what goes in or come out of our treasury. He gives the tax breaks to who he wants. He takes out the money out of our treasury without the proper authorization, and he spends it like a drunken man. Because nobody dares to step in his way. The members of cabinet, as a cabal, under the secrecy agreement that they have among themselves, which is also illegal, by the way, they're dealing with our affairs in cabinet, and therefore the cabinet minutes should be made available and public so that people can understand and know what is being done in cabinet. The only time cabinet went up against him and stopped him in his track is when cabinet wasn't getting their part of the pie. So they are, as far as I'm concerned, a bunch of mobsters. Why didn't they jump up and stop him too when he was coming with the Ashcroft settlement for all the accounts, outstanding accounts? Why didn't they jump up and stop him too when he was bastardizing our constitution and claiming that he's stealing somebody else's property, as in the case of Mr. Feinstein, in the government's name, which is us, that we never end up with a share, in order for him to hand it over to a foreign interest, a foreign company that turn around and sell it to another bigger foreign company, and we got not a penny out of the whole deal. But yet our powers of governance was subordinated to that kind of jackal behavior. And they get mad when I call him a jackal? Or when I say they're sucking out our money out of our treasury on a false pretext, and therefore I classify them as vampires? Or as kleptocrats because they run all the different government departments to find where they can scheme money out of for their own personal agendas and to finance their own political campaign. I have all these things on record. So whenever they're ready, they can start talking about suit. And let's go to court and make it public. As I've said to them before, when I open my mouth and talk and say things, they're not because I just have a pure lip on my face and I just want to flab it and let people see how it look when I'm using it, right? Or because I think I can speak to the issue so eloquently that I just want to get out there and grandstand. No, I'm a vanguard of my country, and I despise the fact that these jackals and hyenas are treating our people who entrust them with the power of governance the way they are treating them, when there's no need. All they have to do is a little better, and they're doing, and the country will be a little better than it is right now. Nobody's asking them to create miracles or do miracles. We all know by past experience and their past trajectory, and even up to their current agendas of taking money from foreign influence or foreign sources, such as, for example, the migrant, the international migrant organizations, to bring people into our country and house people in our country, contrary to what the Constitution is saying. They are authorized to grant people, specifically some people, authority of citizenship in the country but they are not authorized to grant certain other people citizenship in our country based on our constitution. The constitution says that those people are not to be afforded citizenship in our country. Any country that has a beef with us and that is claiming our territory is considered to be an enemy. And these jackals, as just now when you mentioned about the wife, you never mentioned that they are all colluding to help Guatemala acquire Belize, which is our patrimony, by the way. They're all colluding behind the scenes and facilitating thousands of Guatemala in our country to outnumber us and to outvote us on issues that are of our concern. And they're taking our own money and paying for it and getting additional money because they're selling us out lock, stock, and barrel just for a fistful of dollars, a few dollars. They're not even getting full compensation for such dastardly conduct. But they're happy because big time people abroad is patting them on the back and telling them, oh yes, how wonderful they're doing by doing that kind of dastardly conduct, by violating their own constitution. Hooray, hooray, hooray. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank
Mr.
you.
I'm just starting.
Mr. Chairman, I want to ask you a question there, Mr. Chairman and Leonard. Do you think that those nice tax breaks gonna be forever? It is just for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks after the election is gone? What do you think?
They have not really mentioned that, but Mr. Weird, to answer your question, I want you to go back and recall when I called them out about if the people would get these tax breaks before the election or after the election. After I called them out, you saw what happened? No, they are coming with the commercial. So
Yes.
it is something of a thought that maybe they were listening to our show and they heard when I called them out about those taxes, when I said specifically, if the election come and the people does not get that tax break before the election, they can simply call it off. So what they do, they are pushing it out there now, and I said it.
You're making it a
A
date
new
certain. You're
farm
making it a date
of
certain, Mr.
buying
Chairman.
votes, a
Yes.
new farm is taking place.
Yes.
I
Exactly.
said it, and now we are seeing it. They are not afraid. They are publicizing it in commercial, not afraid to show how far they would go. Let's go to the next step.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
they're barefacedly telling us that they're going ahead and violating our constitution as well. Okay? Section 29, subsection 3. Outrightly.
It goes beyond that, Mr. Brackett, and I will prove that tonight. I will prove it to you why. Because whenever you see a government doing this, there is other peoples who will gain from what they are doing, not the regular poor class people. And I will point it out. Let's go to the next step.
The government can't control global inflation. No government can. That's the real truth. But what the PUP government has done is this. Because we believe in the power of Belizeans owning their own homes, we have removed stamp duty from all mortgages for less than $100,000. That means that more Belizeans will be able to access affordable financing to build their homes. That's how we empower our people. That's how we fight inflation, and that's how we've cut the poverty rate in half. There's much more to come. One people, one People's United Party government, one Belize.
No, gentlemen and people at home and abroad.
Mr. Chairman, How
Yes,
many Southside Belizean, black Belizeans are being afforded those privileges or opportunities, sir? Can you answer that for me, or Mr. Wade, or anybody in Belize? Belizeans at home
I
and or
don't
maybe abroad.
think
I'd
we
like
and
someone to
Belizean
give
Affairs
me
have to answer that.
a clarification.
I will let the Prime Minister answer it via the next tape I will play, because I will tell you why. You are pushing this commercial, talking about giving away stamp duty and taxes and all that. But guess what? Why would you want to do that when people cannot even afford to pay the taxes on their houses, the regular tax that they need to pay? So if you are talking about first time homeowners, you're not talking about local regular Belizeans, not the Belizeans on Southside, because people that you are speaking about that can afford that has to be middle class. You
Mm-hmm.
know why? Regular low class Belizean does not have a salary cap about ab- over $10,000 for the year, because the jobs they are doing is not long-term jobs, and it is what we call in Belizean language knock and stand up job. Anything you can catch. But I'm saying this to show you how they tell on themselves. Let's hear what the Prime Minister said.
We have to. There's, we could be politics or anything. It's not our fault. At the end of the day, we have to ensure that the city council can function properly. The city council is going through, council is going through some hard times. The revenues are not coming in as fast as they should. And that's something that we need to work with them on how to ensure that they could collect the revenues, because what our citizens in many instances don't understand that it is with their revenues that we collect from them, property taxes, for instance, and that's what we need to be able to provide the services. When you pay $100 or $200 or $300 to the city council, that's nowhere enough to be able to pick up the garbage, clean the drains, fix the streets, keep the parks, clean and nice and everything is not enough. So at the very least, we can ask our citizens to at least pay your property taxes.
There we go. Telling on yourself. You heard what the Prime Minister said. But you want to waive stamp duty and all that and speak about first time owners. Exactly what I'm saying. He's not speaking about the low class Belizean, the local, regular Belizean. You heard what he said?
Where's their tax
He's
break?
asking the citizens to pay their taxes so city council can pay the bill for the trash pickup. No,
Where's the jobs?
imagine.
Where are the jobs that these people gonna make the money from to be able to pay their bills? Where's the relief that they deserve for all the years that they have lived in the country and paid their taxes and know that they are under economic duress because of the present government's mismanagement
But
and giving away the money in big lumps to Hashcroft and other people, that they could have kept that money or even
that
half of that
is
money to just
why
take care of business.
it is a narrative, and the narrative speaks for itself. The government cannot control global inflation. So
They
when
hide
you
behind
put
that
that
then.
out there, you are saying that every country, including Belize, has an issue with the rising cost of commodities and products. So if your Belizean people can't even afford that, how can they afford to pay the taxes you're asking them so that city council can work 100%? But yet, in your political blunder, you want to give away these concessions for first-time homeowners stamp duty. Go ahead, Mr. Brackett.
In addition to the taxes that he is talking about that he would like for people to pay, which some people would probably pay if they have a job or if they have the income, whether they have a job or they are getting from wherever they are getting, They are making laws, onerous laws, to stifle people and to get into people's private affairs like they try to do with BSI, ESR. And they're muzzling people with those laws. But they couldn't muzzle BSI, ESR with that. The court ruled against them. But my point is that he's not just talking about the taxes that are due to the city council, that he would like for people to pay them up. That would be nice. That's a laudable statement. But he is talking about giving city council additional powers to screw people more. That is, to levy additional taxes on people for the very same services that people have already paid. In other words, isn't that double dipping? As one of my person that visited the show commented, it definitely is double dipping because yes, it's a small amount that we are paying to city council for taxes for the properties and different things, but it's not just a small man paying taxes. What about collecting all the money that those big merchants they owe? That the government don't take them to court or put levy on their properties or whatever they do, like they do with the small man, to dispossess the small man of their property. Go collect your money where it's due and where money is being made. Not pressure the people who don't got no money instead of giving them a leeway or a
But Mr. Brackett,
assistance.
if I may, sir,
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
how can a prime minister wants to speak about taxes that are not being paid when you as government is giving away
25 years
concession
plus.
to foreign investors? You are giving away tax break to small farmers who does not even fall in that category. Then you want to give away taxes not to be paid by people making less than
Stamp
30,000.
duty.
Then you want to move stamp duty. Then all this you want to do, forgetting that every country in this world is run by its taxes it collect. And if you give away all these taxes, you are building a deficit that the next government or when you are out will not be able to pay.
Mr. Chairman, this guy is talking like like he's thinking of running the country like the animal farm. Some animals are more preferred than others. The Constitution says we're all equal. When he makes laws and rules and regulations, he shouldn't be making it only for a certain group of people or only for the people that he has in his constituency. Because a lot of people in his constituency, he goes to bat for and look after. They're well taken care of. There's jobs, there's
It,
all kinds of
it
opportunities
goes
being made and
beyond that,
presented for
Mr.
them.
Brackett,
What about the rest of the country?
because you have people who are working right now who has filed their income tax and 5 years or more have passed and they still haven't collected it yet, their income tax return.
Then they
So we
must
have to
ask
look
us.
in totality. It's a big scenario of what is happening.
They
I go
mismanage.
to you, Mr. Wade.
Mr. Chairman, and Leonard, like you says this, Mr. Chairman, it's a political blunder, Um, it's a new way now that they're putting out all these nice things publicly,
To
get
buy
them out,
votes. To buy
yes,
votes,
to
Mr.
buy
Wade.
votes, right? To buy votes, and in reality, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, my people. Which one of my people, poor Belizean, is taking home $30,000 a year? Poor working class. Which one, like you rightfully says, Greg? Who
Some
are
of
the
the higher
people,
paid civil servants,
right?
maybe.
Some that can't even buy the basic needs, right? Or pay for basic services. Um, and then not to mention he talk about stamp duty for again. I gotta stress on this that $30,000 lot, $30,000 house lot where that person going to buy. Who has that money, Mr. Briseño? Which one are the poor people? So who are you talking to? Who are the people that will get that break? Who? That's the big question, my people.
The people who are
If
being
if you
sponsored,
cannot,
Mr. Wade, the people who are being sponsored by the migration, the international migration organizations, they will get lands to work,
yes.
to build houses
So
on as well. They will get facilitated with all kind of things that the local Belizeans are not being
getting
facilitated
so
on.
my people, if this man, the Brisenio and Cordell Hyde and Julius Spot could go to Valley of Peace and give away 52 lots, not for $30,000, right? To people that have been given Belizean citizenship, people, that came into this country, right? They got that without, you see, and they didn't even have to
And the
go to the
Belizeans get
lands
nothing.
department, my people. Didn't have to go stand in that damn line, hot, sun hot, well, now it's a little cold, or chilly and rainy. They didn't have to do that. Buying votes. And I have always says, I have been told once that, Brother Rudy, as for me, I do not need the black votes to win an election. An area representative told me that. Says, so you could go ahead and campaign in the black community, but I don't need to go in the black community to win votes. And the man was right. May he rest in peace. Right? So we see a clear picture of the intention, the bastardization of our patrimony, who gets in it, and how they are distributing it. You see, this man took the whole government agency, the Belizean government agency, not Brisenio government agency, to Orange Walk to facilitate his political blunder, Mr. Chairman, like you said. Because those very same person, Mr. Chairman, that he facilitated that day will vote for him. Right? Because they got everything. Hook, sinker, line, and bait and fish. While the poor band Belizean, go and get a lot for 30,000 and you ain't get relief of stamp duty. Right? Or make $30,000 and you don't pay no income tax. Or the teachers, and the union. Oh no, this they are right and thing, but they are not. They do the right thing, right? You understand me? No, that man doing away with all this money, Mr. Chairman, and not to mention they got up in the house not too long ago, Mr. Cordell Hyde. We, the government, have a lot of money. That's the word the man used, from proceeds from the Bolido. So we know Belizean people have to worry about nothing. You don't remember that?
Mm-hmm.
You don't remember that? What's
And the money
going
that
on
was
with
supposed
these
to go
people?
the money that was supposed to go to NHI.
Right? What's so?
So many
Why?
millions of dollars from the
So
Bolido.
what
And now they
happened,
turn
Mr.
around and
Chairman?
they give them $1 million.
Why couldn't Leonard and why couldn't they took some money off of a lot of money? They did mucho dinero that they have and give it to the city council in Belize City, right? Why do you have to resort to that measure of the poor taxpayers, right? That's to show you, my people, our fool the talk, right? Because the man don't listen to your own words what he say and who he harm, right? And the bottom line is that that man don't give a hoot because it's not his money and he already power drunk, right? He's power drunk. And I don't see anything that could calm that man down. The road that man going, I hope, I pray to the Almighty that he look down and render justice to the Belizean people. That's what I pray for, right? Because with this guy, the poor born Belizean has no justice at all in this country, right? And sadly, guys, let me wrap this up here. That's the way this two-party system has our poor people. Keep them poor and dependent. They are masters of that. And that's how they control, right? So if my Belizean people now wake up, what when catch them again? Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. But I also want to say that the Prime Minister has stated along with City Council that the trash company who is picking up this trash are being paid $65,000 a week. Now, if you multiply that by 52, that is $3,380,000. Couldn't the government have been using that to buy its own trash truck to create long-term jobs? Come on. You know how much trash truck that can buy? And that can be a form of long-term jobs?
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman,
Chairman,
let
you
me
not
talk.
worry about that because the diaspora donate and the
Mr.
Chinese then donate the trust truck for the
Uh,
government.
Mr. Chairman,
With
let
the
me talk
little
again.
that the government have, they are donated.
Okay, yes, Mr. Brackett.
Let's bring it down to the level of where the people really could understand what's going on rather than just looking at the superficial statements that these people are making to try and sound or appear to be doing the right thing. To start with, as soon uh, when PUP was in power in City Hall the last time around, they gave some contracts to some favored individuals, some onerous contracts that put the Belize City Council over a barrel to the point where it could not pay for those contracts because they were exorbitant. And they did that just about the time when they were going to be ending up losing the election. And the UDP end up inheriting those long-term contracts. And those people that they gave those contracts to kept threatening the UDP to take them to court because they stopped picking up the trash because the UDP was having difficulty collecting the money, the same way like these current ones are going through. They have difficulty collecting their taxes and therefore they can't meet all their obligations. But they still continue to pay high salary and increase salaries and continue to give out special contracts to special people. The problem is that the general public is being fed one narrative, but they're not being told the truth. The truth is that with these contracts that these city council make with these people, as soon as they won this election, the election that brought them back into power again, they went right ahead, kick out what the UDP had done in terms of trying to do the work on their own, like the chairman was saying, and you, Mr. Wade, was saying, that that money could buy equipment that they could have that the city could own and do them work when they want, when they need, and all that, and provide long-term jobs for people. When they came back in, they fired those people, and they gone back and give the contracts again to the same people that they had been having difficulties with before. Now they're having difficulties, and now the same people are turning around. The very minister, um, uh, the unelected one that used to be foreign minister before, that is still leader of government business, and Mr. Koye, will walk out at the Senate hearing. They have so much power in the government that they could turn around now and they want to reverse to the council, who is under their own government control.
But
on behalf of their clients.
but Mr. Brackett, if
While
I
they're
may,
collecting money from we to service us and to do work for us as members of the government. These jackals and these kleptocrats, all they think about is wherever some change the rattle, how to get some of it.
Mr. Brackett,
Go ahead,
if I
Mr. Chairman.
may,
Yes, sir.
not to
Please.
cut you short,
No,
sir,
please go ahead, sir.
it's a proven fact that they can take that money and buy trucks and create long-term jobs.
Mhm.
And I'm not just saying this from my mouth. It is proven the same way they can acquire those e-buses to run in the city,
Exactly.
they can acquire trash trucks. Now, gentlemen, let's go to another political blunder and another for campaign.
The government can't control global inflation. No government can. That's the real truth. But what the PUP government has done is this. We've provided free education to almost 4,000 students in 21 high schools. That means no tuition costs. It means free books and digital devices, free uniforms, free transportation, and a free nutritious meal every day. And that means that in almost 4,000 homes across the country, there is more money in the hands of our people. That's how we empower our people. That's how we fight inflation, and that's how we've cut the poverty rate in half. There's much more to come. One people, one People's United Party government, one Belize.
Mr. Chairman,
No,
I didn't see no Southside school represented in that group that is
no, gentlemen and
Is that
people
by
at
accident?
home and abroad. No, just imagine. Can you believe this? I can tell you point blank. I have so many people on the south side who are single mothers, where the government has stopped the pantry and only certain people is getting it. And they are speaking about providing for these kids. Mr. Wade,
Lies.
I go to you.
Lies.
Mr. Chairman and Leonard, we have we have beat this horse already about this narrative about free education, right? I have on our previous programs before show proof as to what a parent have to pay to enroll their child, right? So all that crap just now, that's bogus. Uh, a way to buy votes, a way to for people to sympathize with them. That yes, we like the PUP going. Cause look how then I show my children at school and then they get one, well, the meal and then get one, free education. Now, who believe that? Only a certain portion of a small little handful, Mr. Chairman and Leonard, a small little handful of Belizean is reaping what they have just put on that commercial. But the 98% of the regular Belizean parents, they know exactly that that's a lie. So I can
They're gonna
say,
go and vote them back again, Mr. Wade. That's the problem.
Mr. Wade, if I may, here in the Belizean affair, we show and we tell. And as I said, these people always tell on themselves is if the video that I just played is true in what the government is saying, let's listen to this.
In March 2023, a fire broke out inside the St. Matthew's Government School building. It left the staff and the ministry wondering how they would continue the school year. The children had just come back after 2 years of distance learning and were saddened that they'd have to go back to it. Even the food and snack vendors around the school were affected. But almost 2 years later, the school has been rebuilt. better than ever. And earlier today, the kids were celebrating Children's
We don't have to play no more. 2
Come to the
years.
More Tomorrow one. Come to the More Tomorrow school.
People at
You're not
home and
touched that yet.
abroad.
What happened to the
Two-
Biscayans?
The point is, it
What
took
happened to Cook
them
Tree?
2 years to replace that school. But here they are putting out this lovely commercial as
Yes.
though they are doing
Yes.
so much. I go back to you, Mr. Wade.
Like I said, these people have no shame, Mr. Chairman, right? And there's an election around, and you'll see more of this nonsense. You'll see more of that, right? They have to be aware that these things are blocked out, that cannot be heard, right? These lies and outright lies, and some of these media houses that is playing that know damn well that it's a lie, but still they are doing it anyway, right? So, as for what I know, there's nothing in this. There is no free education in this country. There's none. I have called out on the Minister of Education the other day with the More Tomorrow situation. Show me what is free. Show me. When I produce the bills that the parents had also pay to enroll their children, right? That's money, cash, right? It wasn't free. So show me, Mr. Man, what they're showing you right there. Free food, free uniform, free tuition. That's what they're showing you. And they're telling you now, like I say, who will believe that? Right? When especially we on this platform, we know better, Mr. Chairman, that what they're talking about is not true. Right? So I just hope and pray, like I say, the Belizean people, see these people for who they are and say enough is enough, no? And sadly, they're using the children. They're using the children, Mr. Chairman. Right? What else next they will do? They will come with something else again. Some kind of good things they are doing for the Belizean people.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wade. Gentlemen, at the opening of this show, with all these good things the government has to offer the people of Belize, I said that whenever the government is doing this kind of stuff before election, as we have a general election coming, there will be other people that will benefit from it. And I want you to see for yourself, people at home and abroad, how the system is being run. As I have said on more than one occasion, a designer system designed to keep the local people in poverty. If you are not in middle class, not hired by government or a good entity that is private, the system will not work for you, because this one is ludicrous. Even with all the price gouging that had taken place from the stores in this country, I want you to hear this one.
The government has announced that it will be waiving general sales tax on the 14th, 15th, 21st, and 22nd of December.
This can't be real. No GST, we have to mark a calendar.
That's right, no GST on the 14th, 15th, 21st, and 22nd of December. So mark your calendars.
Man, that's a big help for the Christmas. We get everything we need and we still have a little bit left over to spend.
That's so true, babe. The government's really doing a lot for the Belizean people.
We know our cost of living high, but we government to do everything to make life better for we. No GST on goods the 14th, 15th, 21st, and 22nd. That's true.
Mr. Wade and Mr. Brackett and people at home and abroad. I go to you, Mr. Brackett.
Thank you very much, sir. You quite well
This one
classified
takes
the
the cake.
political blunder as being political financing. Now, the opposition parties, them, or the independent individuals, can't afford to give those kind of, or award those kind of benefits to people who will have some gratitude to them for doing so. Only the government can exercise that power. So they're exercising that power not because the people need the help. Otherwise, they would have been doing that during COVID, after COVID, and probably even up to now. In fact, they could have maybe do that with gas instead of let the gas go up so high so that Mr. Brishenga could keep collecting additional taxes or additional money in a fuel gas company. They could have maybe do that from way back. But now the Christmas is around. Instead of giving ministers the money for buy pantry and things for their constituents as they normally would do, the government is now going directly into the treasury and spending money or allowing money to be diverted from the treasury into political campaign financing on their behalf. Because nobody else can claim the virtue of having people be grateful to them for having done that during Christmas, like the young lady was saying. They could stretch their money a little bit more during Christmas. That's laudable. But why is that so? They never do that any other Christmas than before. Even when they pay off hundreds of millions of dollars to Mr. Ashcroft, which account to them at that time, then they could have afforded to do that because they had so much money. They still never do it back then. Now when they owe so much money, or then they borrow so much money, or then they go to the house to go ask for additional subventions or other money, that they need to spend. They don't have the money available because then they give it away right now for financing campaign. An election is supposed to be due by November. But as we all have been observing, it is very likely that that election is going to happen somewhere between February and June, not later than June, and more likely than not, during
Mr.
February.
Brackett, it can't be in June. It have to be.
Because of the heat,
It has to.
the heat wave and catch them, and they don't have money
No,
to
he
pay for
has
their
to have it before the coming new year at the supplementary. So it has to be
April
somewhere
1st.
between January to April.
Yeah. That's why I was saying it's more likely that it's going to be in February.
Well, you can sense
anymore.
it, from
Can't
all
do that.
these commercial and political blunder. It is not a hint.
It takes a certain amount of days after they call the election, right?
Mm-hmm. But what I was going at, when you are given these GST tax break and those dates, who you think is getting a break there? All these stores. How many stores does the local Belizean have to take part in that?
Very little.
So who are they targeting? Again,
But as
campaign
of right now, Mr.
financing in a
Chairman,
different way.
we keep telling them, go and collect from these big stores, then GST where the stores then take away from the people.
They can
They collect the
afford
money
to
from the
do
people
that
and they not
because
pass it
they
to the
have.
government, and the government don't go and collect it. And these stores take that money and start investing in other business and become bigger and bigger and more stores. So then it's chance the public. And the
That
government to
is a
pretend like it's no big
form
deal.
of campaign financing.
Because they go right back to the stores and they get goodies for getting constituents.
If the government is doing that, which is unconstitutional,
Exactly.
will not collect taxes on those products and commodities, it means that these stores are getting concession.
Yep.
So that is still a form of campaign financing. And I will tell you this, they will not give any money out for the Christmas because I will show you another form of
The cash is
campaign
not there.
financing.
The
No,
cash is not there.
it's
Hold on, you're right.
blatant disrespect. Blatant disrespect. Listen to the tape.
Babe, I really don't think we could afford to get ham and turkey this year. And I think we have it in our budget.
Babe, I'm sure that we can. You know here government cancelled GST for all turkey and ham all December?
Oh yes, I forget all about that. Make we hurry go by.
Ma, this turkey and ham tastes nice.
Thanks, honey. I'm glad you like it.
Christmas is a time for giving and sharing, and I happy to say that the government really give the Christmas cheer this year.
We know cost of living high, but we're going.
Gentlemen, political
Mr.
blunder.
Chairman,
The
Mr.
government
Chairman,
is giving.
you see now that at the end of the show, my cynicism is being validated, right? I start the show by declaring that, I'm a cynic. And let it be known that I'm a cynic. You see now why I say I'm a cynic, right? So anyhow, I yield back, sir. it's just, it's like a joke, man. It's becoming a joke. It's
Mr.
serious
Wade,
business, you know?
I go to you, Mr. Wade.
You remind me of when they do the commercial for the Bolido,
Okay.
right?
Same
You
here.
know, so sad, how they use the people, Mr. Chairman, right? So sad. Um, what they're doing with they addressing the price gouging?
No.
Do they know that? They say that they're addressing this issue and there is no more price gouging and I say, over and over every week.
Didn't Mr. Mai go and sit down and have drinks with the man there and come back and tell us that we the lie on the man there because the man there said that
Yeah.
they was price gouge and they don't steal and they don't collect no GST and no turn it over and then prices,
Every
The
week,
minister
Mr.
come back and tell you
Chairman.
that we are the liar?
Yes, every week, Mr. Chairman and Leonard and my people who go to the store know that man is lying. They know that they're lying, right? Every week the price goes up,
I
guys,
went to the I
right?
went to the store every week
Right?
and during the week sometime for the last 3 months.
See,
And I
you
find
see
some of the
any?
people there, then they change the price when it goes down with up on the shelf.
Yes,
Then they raise the price and it goes with up on the shelf.
yes,
There are no new goods what they bring in, we cost them more.
yes. But
So
sad.
that's how the inflation works under the nose of the government and against the interest of the people. I yield back, Mr.
Gentlemen
Chairman.
and people at home and abroad, I hope the people in the rural north who was caught in those flooding is listening to all these commercial come the general election. I hope they know what to do because the government has refused to call a state of emergency or to get with NEMO to adequately help those people affected by the flooding who will not be able to spend a Christmas, who will not be able to probably pay some monies that they borrow through their farming and through their cattle or whatever small farmers, etc. has. I go to you, Mr. Wade.
You know, you're right on point there, Mr. Chairman. Like I say the same thing. I just hope that the the people in the rural and the Belize River Valley that has been affected, I hope that they're taking note, right? I just hope so. We on this program, on previous program, had called for him to call a state of emergency. He hasn't, that's to show you, right? But guys, you know that right after the storm, right? This man went and his little village there in San Jose Palmar or somewhere, right there. After after the storm passed, he went and declared a state of emergency there, guys, right? State of emergency. So why couldn't or why shouldn't he do it for the people in the Belize River Valley? Why? That's the big question, guys. Right? Who lives there? Who lives in the Belize River Valley?
You,
Who lives in San Jose Palmar? Real sad, no? Real sad, but the man love everybody, and this is the best that the Belizean people had lived in 43 years. He said it. The best, and the best is yet to come. Right. Now, who believe that, and who live in these hills and well, that's a different story, right? If you live in it and still believe this fool, well, then I don't know what to say, Mr. Chairman. I don't know what to say anymore, right? For what the poor Belizeans, born Belizeans, are going through in this country, and the rhetoric that this man is putting out there publicly for the world to see like he's doing such a good job in his country, right? Damn. Sad. Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. Mr. Brackett.
thank you again, Mr. Chairman, for allowing me the privilege to say a few words. Uh, Tonight is the first show that we are broadcasting from the original broadcasting location. After spending 3 months in Belize, in Corozal, about 7 times, Orange Walk, 6 or 7 times, Kyle, about 3 times, Belmopan, about 8 times, I think 9, Stan Creek a couple of times, Placencia, Kikaka, didn't go to Burgerski, didn't go to PG, but for a little bit more time, I could have covered the whole country as I do when I do my annual survey every year from 1971 till today date that I'm just getting off the plane a couple of days ago, going through that same process, which affords me and allow me the opportunity to sit down with people, talk with people, in a bus, in a car, in a taxi, in our government offices, all over the place, with politicians. So I keep having a proper feeling for what ails my country, as is the responsibility that I took up. And I've not ceased and desisted my efforts to contribute positively to my country in whatever manner possible. I'm saying to you, Belizeans, the outcome of what I've found out so far in this last trip scares me, because I know what most Belizeans may not be aware of, because they never run on in one country like I did, as often as I did, and they're not on top of the business the way I tend to try and be. Then listen to the news. Sometimes they get fed with stuff, those are just propaganda, apologies, statements on behalf of the news media that need to make their money out of government commercials and government facilitation. Therefore, they cannot talk too much about what the government is doing wrong, except maybe for Jules Vasquez. Every once in a while, the Prime Minister complains that Jules is trying to do tabloid journalism because he asks the questions that needs to be asked, and they don't want to answer the questions, or they don't want to be bothered, or they don't want to be exposed. But I'm saying here tonight, what Belizeans are experiencing today is a lot worse than what they have experienced in the past. Despite what the Prime Minister and his minions say, that this is the best time Belize has been living compared to its past. I want to stipulate right here and now, I don't know if I'll live long enough. Nobody knows how long we got to live. 1 minute, 1 day, 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 2, 1 decade more. None of we know. But I can guarantee you, even if I'm dead and gone, we haven't seen anything yet. Belizeans, gird up your loins, brothers and sisters. You think the hurricane will come or anything compared to where they come out of right now? This Belize Guatemala issue, the economic situation that most people will find themselves in dire straits, while some people at the top will be rolling in money as some of them currently are doing, and there are others on the street can't find a ramen to eat. Most Belizeans are so proud to the point where they don't want their neighbors know that they know to eat, or that they're having a hard time. But if you be around Belizeans long enough, you could see right through their proudness, deep down into their mind and their heart and their soul, at some point, to recognize that they're suffering in silence. But we haven't seen anything yet. Imagine the same PUP government that we have right now in place, getting another term right now as a walkthrough, and you, the Belizean Belizeans, for a plate of food and a couple of beer, and want to leave $50 or $100 or leave blue note. We don't have to take and eat that food in a 1 day, drink that beer in a 1 day, listen to that music and that paranda or whatever in a 1 day, and take that money, and by the time the next day comes, the money probably don't spend too. You have to wait till the next 5 years for another election come around. If they remember that you exist, so that they'll give you another plate of food. In other words, that plate of food, that 2 drinks, that the money when they give you have to last you for 5 long years, while then they rape and scrape and steal and fatten themselves and their family members, friends and loved ones and other foreigners who get any money in other, on the side to facilitate with your powers of governance that should be working on your behalf to facilitate you being able to earn your own living. Belizeans, hard time to come. People that states now got the money for send to, like they used to do before. Imagine how much harder it can be. In fact, The people them out there they talk about send back some of the Belizeans and some of the Belizeans back home there they talk about they don't want no Belizeans from states come back home come there because they don't know have enough jobs back there right now. They don't have enough to take care of themselves and help themselves. So they feel they don't get trained and hyped up with this idea that Belizeans from abroad will be a burden to the Belizeans at home. When in fact that the Belizeans abroad have been taking care of the burden off the shoulders of the Belizeans at home. But that divide and conquer mindset is already being propagated to say even if the Belizeans from abroad come home, we will still keep them divided and we will still keep the black one them marginalized, and at the end of the day they are being effective in terms of being able to take over their government and doing what they need to do for themselves. Because like Mr. Wade says, the man tell her after a while they don't need no UNO again. We are getting enough migrants in the country that they want to be indebted to us, and therefore they want to vote for us, and they want to help us control and run the show. And you, the black people, in Belize, and get marginalized and pushed down to the bottom of the barrel, like in the republics in Guatemala, in Honduras, in El Salvador, in Nicaragua, Honduras. I remember one time in 1962 when I first went to El Salvador, I was the only black person in that country. They had just kicked out all the black people then, because of a malicious rumor that one black man may rape one Spanish lady. And chase out everybody out of the country. And I was there, not knowing all that may happen. But luckily, I wasn't a threat to them, and I was always a friendly face. So they put up with me. Belizeans at home, hard time they come. I don't know how else to explain it or express it. Or maybe I don't have to believe what I say anyhow, because you know the day yet. The kind of hard time where the talk about no reach yet. Gird up on the loins, tighten up on the belt. The one we have to do, vote them people back in again if we don't just love them that much. We don't mind about the pressure and the hassles. But voting whoever we want to vote in, because at the end of the day, whoever want to vote in that have no prerogative for no business. The Belizeans abroad have been marginalized, have been disenfranchised, and when it comes to the voting, they can't help you. When it comes to the voting, we have to help on ourselves. When it comes to the money, when I used to send from outside to they can't help you either, because they themselves and they in hassles and problems. So when hard time come, figure out how to handle it. Because
and you know what else, Mr. Brackett? And I need to say this. I really need to say this. I recall how the Prime Minister had bypassed the acting Chief Justice, Ms. Arana. And now her leadership, Ms. Blendman, might be leaving for the CCJ. What a travesty, when we could have one of our locals as the Chief Justice. But we're getting close to the end.
Somebody that would look after their interests for them and suborn them and keep a contract over their head so that they can come and rule like Benjamin or Conte or a Sosa or any of those judges who had a judicial temperament that knew their law and their business and were willing to put themselves in harm's way, even at the point of losing their contract, in order to uphold the laws of the land, the supreme law of the land.
Right. We are
honor our constitution.
Right. We are getting close to the end. And before I go to you, Mr. Wade, I want the people at home and abroad to listen to this tape, which will be our closing tape.
Corruption is a vile disease that sucks and drains the health out of something good. Corruption in society is an evil moral infection that keeps community in a state of perpetual sickness. Corruption is a moral virus. It's so potent it leaves its host sick, lethargic, and unable to realize and accomplish all that a well person can. Where corruption thrives, poverty and not prosperity thrives. Wealth is grabbed into the greedy, grubby hands of those who get fat on the toil and labor of good people. Corruption benefits, only temporarily, those who participate in it. Government should be protecting us from the foul results of corruption instead of being the proponents and participants in corruption. When corruption is systemic, when it's a culture and a way of life, when corruption thrives, it destroys the health of the community and nation. Now let me tell you something. Defeating corruption is a very difficult thing. The love of money is the root of all evil, the Bible says. People who love money will do almost anything to get it. Those who choose to stand up against corruption, you need to know that we're going to be involved in a war. We will be threatened, vilified, intimidated, marginalized, and ridiculed. These kind of people who stand up against corruption will often feel alone, as if they are the problem instead of the solution. Corruption can only be defeated when enough people have had enough and decide to do something about it.
Mr. Wade, I go to you for your comment
Thank you.
and the
Great closing,
closing,
Mr.
sir.
Chairman. Great closing video.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, because that is one of the items that is very much in my being. Right. So it's so true. It look like I am the problem, right? When I talk about corruption, right? I will continue. And again, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Thank you very much for always show and tell. Show and tell. I just hope that the Belizean people, would appreciate, learn, open your mind. See what's going on around you, your neighborhood, your towns and villages, cities. See what's going on. Is it good for you? You're the prosper. Life is good for you. Well, kudos, But if it's not good, you need to do something about it. Why you will keep condoning these kinds of behavior from these politicians, these elected leaders who you trust, elect to protect and serve you? Are they doing it? That's my thing, right? Again, it's always a pleasure, Leonard, to sit in your company, my brother. And to our viewers and listeners, I just hope that tonight's show will shed some light of the things that we are seeing and the things that we are showing you right here on this program. We just show you. Do you want to continue down that road? Well, they're coming back for you to help them go down that road again. They're coming back. So there will be changes though, right? The next election, we'll have a new entity called the Belizean Justice Movement on the ticket. And there will be the only change. So if you want to change the whole system, vote for these people. They will be your savior. Okay? Trust me. On that note, I want to say good night. It's always a pleasure, guys. And thanks for queuing up again, Greg. Show and tell.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. Thank you, Mr. Brackett. And thank you to the Belizean people at home and abroad who tune in to this, sir.
Oh, but before, give me a second. Give me one more second there.
Go ahead,
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman,
Wade.
please. Through our medium, the Belizean Affairs Show, we sent our condolences to this tragedy on Saturday here in the West. Our heart, bleeds to see such a travesty, right? Young lives have been lost. And to the family, we feel with you, right? And I call on the system to do better. System is part of the problem, right? our condolences to the family of those that have, perished in that tragedy, that traffic accident. 10 innocent souls, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. Well
Back to you.
said.
Endorse your
Good
statement
night
100%, Mr. Wade.
to you, the Belizean people at home and abroad. We want to thank you for tuning in to this, our 227th episode of Belizean Affairs. With that says, have a great and wonderful night.